Hey NailTubers, what is up, Nailification Squad? So remember in my most recent trying a polygel kit from Amazon video where I showed you guys this Supui reflective glitter polygel? And if you haven't seen that, you should really take a look at it to see how these turned out. But I asked the question, does anybody transfer their polygel from the tubes to the gel pots? Some of you guys did respond about that, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And remember in that video I was saying that I was particularly considering transferring these polygels for some reasons, right? So I just came today to explain that to you and show you as well. So one of the things that I showed you guys in that video was the amount of polygel that's actually in these tubes. These are supposed to be 15 milliliter tubes, right? And then as I picked them up and started using them, I noticed space in there. So I collapsed it, and this is actually how much polygel is in the tube. And I'm not bad naming the company. I'm not trying to bash the company. If you are a company and you're watching this, just understand that there are us that pay attention, you know. However, the polygel is gorgeous, guys. It is gorgeous. Oh, and by the way, originally this set of polygel started out to be $14.99, I believe, when I purchased it. And oh, I need to mention a couple of things actually. When I purchased it, which was back in September, because I saw the date when I looked it back up, it was $9.99. So it started out $14.99 at some point. I had it in my basket, and then by the time I was ready to purchase, the price had dropped. So still the price was fair. And if you're actually interested in this polygel, it did drop down right now to $8.99. So and I hope my video had something to do with that. Because I need to speak up for the peoples. I need to speak up for the peoples, okay? We would like a little more, companies, okay? Please do a little better, because we do. We love your products, and we're going to put a little more polygel in here. And I guarantee you're going to be selling well, because these turned out, again, like I said, gorgeous, gorgeous. But because of that disappointment, and it became hard, it became so difficult to squeeze the polygel out. That was the second reason. So I decided to open these up and transfer them to pots. And let me show you, I've done one already, which was the silver. And remember, if you shop for gel pots, if you do shop for gel pots, they do have to be opaque. Even better are the ones that are double, what do you call it? You know what I'm trying to say. They're like double potted, where there's an interior pot lined inside. Okay, those are even better. These were too small, so I actually did two. I don't know what I did with, oh, here's the other one. So I actually did two of them. I split it between two pots, and then one of them will go to my other desk upstairs when it gets cold. So this is what it looks like once it's settled into the pot, because when you put it in, it's going to be, you know, it's going to be like all over the place, and then in time it'll settle in. So it's almost like a builder gel, but it's a polygel in a pot. That's what it looks like. Okay, so that was the silver one, which I got started. And let me put the cap back on this one. What I learned in doing this, because I've only done this twice. I recorded myself once before, it was like last year, and I'm still looking for that recording. If I find it, I'll probably include some clips of it. But one of the things that I did learn in doing this is, if you want to save the labeling, to take that off right away. Which I don't know if I'm going to do that or not, because I don't have many gel pots. If you want to save the labeling, or if you're going to create your own labeling, make sure you take that off right away, okay guys? So for starters, what we're going to do is we're going to cut into the bottom edge. When I first started doing it, I was squeezing it out the top, but instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to push it closer to the bottom and then squeeze it out the bottom edge into the gel pot. And before I do this, so I have several jars right here. They're 15 milliliters, so you're going to need jars that size if you're only going to use one. These were like 7, so all of these I'll split between the two. I won't even show you the rest of them. I just wanted you to have an idea of how I do it. So I'm going to split the tubes between 2 jars. The other thing that you'll need is you'll need maybe like some type of dish. I'm going to use this dampened dish, and you will need some alcohol, which I'll pour into the dampened dish, okay? So we're going to do that real quick and have that off to the side so that you can wipe any utensils off that you'll use. So I'll have this sitting off to the side, guys, okay? And then you're going to need some type of a strong scooping or scraping tool. Strong, not plastic. You will need something metal because the polygel will feel very heavily sticky. So I was using my cuticle pushers. I would use this to scoop out some, and then I would use this to scrape from the walls inside the tube. And then I remembered I had these two, so I'm thinking to use those to see if these make it any easier. So I'm going to put those off to the side. And last but not least, guys, you are going to need some gloves because this can get sticky and messy. And I know a lot of people may not like the stickiness or the messiness, but when you think about it, it's only going to be a one-time ordeal, and from there your gel will be in a pot. So it's up to you, but I wanted to do this also to show you how much you actually miss when you're using it straight out the tube. Okay, so let's get started. Oh, and I also forgot to mention that you'll need some scissors. And don't make them if you got your best scissors. Don't use those. These are just some scissors typically from Dollar Tree. So if they get messed up, I don't mind. They can be replaced easily. So again, I pushed the polygel back towards the back of the tube. And let me make sure I have my pot ready. And see, this is one of those lined pots that I was talking about. You also want to take this cardboard piece or this liner piece out because this is going to get sticky and attached to the polygel when it's inside. You don't need that, not with the polygel. And another tool that I did forget to mention, because if you don't have one, you can still do this, is an X-Acto knife, and I'll show you what I do with that in a moment. So, when I cut the bottom edge, I try not to, I don't cut the entire thing. I cut just the corner so that I'll have control of the polygel as I'm squeezing it out of the tube. And the reason why we're squeezing it this way is because we're working it away from getting built up and clogged up at the nozzle. You see how nicely that comes out? And it doesn't have to be as messy as we anticipate. So we'll let that sit and settle while we work some more down the tube. As much as we can, get it away from the nozzle. This way it's less messy. So that's one jar. And whatever's left, I'll put in another jar and have that upstairs at my table. Now what I'll do is I want to get what's around the edges away, so I'll just take one of my nail tools, tap it into the alcohol a little bit, and just wipe it off the edge, so this way the cap doesn't stick. And the other thing that I do when I have pots, I don't close them airtight. When I close them, I just close them till they're comfortably closed. That way it doesn't stick closed. I don't have a problem reopening it. If you close it airtight, it's prone to get stuck by the polygel that may be on the edges, or the polygel, or any type of gel that may be stuck into the grooves of the cap and the jar. So now I'll use my second jar for what's remaining. And this is actually the primary reason why I decided to do this. Let me take this. I just put my scissors back. This out. I don't like those things in there. I don't know. You guys might like those little things in there. I don't. So we're just going to finish doing this even in the second pot. And there's quite a bit coming out, right? The more you get out this way, the easier and the less mess it is. you've got out what you can, what you want to do is you want to push it back. At least I'm saying you want to, but I'm just showing you how I started doing it. After doing it a couple of times, you want to push it back. You guys would be surprised at how much is left in here after you think you squeezed everything out of it. Okay, then you're gonna open it up, and for that I'll use, then you're gonna open it up. Now this is going to have polygel on it. You want to create an opening to slide your scissors down. I think I'm not going to use the scissors. I think I am going to use the X-Acto knife. Okay, but you can take some scissors and you can go down and cut it. It can get messy, which I did get some on my scissors, and it can be cleaned off with acetone. And you're going to lay it on its side and just hold it in place. Put some pressure on there and just cut down. And the reason why I haven't cut this off yet is to hold this in place, so it'll stay in place for me, and then cut down, because sometimes it'll get squishy. Okay, and this will have to be cleaned off. And that is when I cut the tip off. Now guys, wait till you see how much polygel is still in here. I think, oh, I created a little bit of a mess. I think I remembered cutting across the top at that point too. Hold on, let me clear this. So this is why you have on the gloves. I'm trying to do this by memory, guys. Now you see how it moves around. That's why I cut the bottom out last. You do have to hold it in place because it'll rotate from the cap. This is the final reason why I wanted to, because I know that polygel gets stuck inside these tubes even when you think you've squeezed it all out. And even with those things that you know, those toothpaste squeezers that you rotate down, there's still so much polygel in these tubes, guys. Look at this. When you think you've squeezed it all the way out, you still have all of this polygel inside. That is a lot. That's a few nails. That may be even a whole hand. Okay, depending on what you're doing. And look at how much is down there inside the cap. So this is why I wanted to show you. I did this once before with some color, just straight color polygel. But guys, look. Okay, you're missing out, even with the squeezers, on all of this polygel that is still inside the tube. So companies, if you're watching, here's another one for you. Consider putting the polygel in the jars. Even some of the comments in that video, people were saying you get more out of it. And look at how much more, guys. Look at how much more. And this is reflective polygel. You definitely don't want to waste this. You want to get as much of this as you possibly can, right? So I'm going to lay that down. And you could just get any scraper. I'm just going to use this spoon that I remembered I had. And you just scrape it. You get it off of these walls. You get it off from being stuck on these walls. And this is where, yeah, of course, it's going to get a little sticky. I can almost figure this is at least about a hand. Because think about it. Oh, after I do this, this is where it gets a little sticky. This is about how much you'll use on a nail. There's all of this still left inside, so this is a whole hand. Guys, look at how much polygel this is. Come on now. We can save them coins. It's not really necessarily about saving the coins. It's just how much product you actually still have left, right? And what I'm doing with this, so you could see, so it doesn't get messy all over the desk, I'll put it right there so you could see. I'm just leaning it up against the dappen dish. Just like that. Now it's not getting the whole desk messy, right? And maybe to some of you, you feel like, oh, that's so cheesy or cheap. Okay, okay. Yeah, cheesy, cheap. This is reflective polygel, honey. I like to spend money just like the next guy, but if I like a product, this is a very particular and special type of product. I want to get as much of it out of it as I can. At the fingertips, and at this point I'm using acetone, pure acetone, not in the polygel, not on the utensil. Well, you could use it on the utensils, just to clear the gloves from any stickiness. And then something like this, I'll try to get some of this off. That's getting down to the nitty-gritty. Now this spoon, because of its color, I don't think I would use acetone on this. I think I would kind of set this in the alcohol, let it soak, and then eventually get that polygel off of there. But let me set it aside for right now. And then this, I would just continue to work this off of here into the jar. And I don't know if I ever showed you guys. Well, no, I did. I think I showed you guys before. Whenever I have gel pots like this, I don't open them up all the way, just for this particular reason, so your product doesn't get built up around the lip of the jar. Okay, and scrape as much of that off. And then I will leave both of these in the alcohol to sit and soak. And if it becomes necessary to use acetone, I will use acetone to clean them off. Again, like I said, I'm not sure about the gold spoon because I don't know if that'll discolor it, but I'll let that soak and then clean those off. Yeah, guys. So yeah, it's not as messy if you come up with, this is the way that I do it, and it's not as messy if you come up with a way or routine. I just wanted to show you and explain to you the reasons. This is a special polygel because it's reflective glitter, so you want to get as much of it as you can. So, and I also showed you how much you're actually missing out on when you think the tube is empty. So yeah, guys, this is how I transfer from the tubes into the jars. And now I got 2 nice jars of polygel, one to go up on my extra table, and they're still so pretty even in the pot, aren't they? Alright guys, I hope this was helpful to you and I hope you enjoyed it. I really have fun doing this. It's almost like being in science class and working on a project. And if you did enjoy this, consider hitting the like button and think about subscribing to my channel. And remember, when you do, consider hitting that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Much love.